Good evening, Parvesh. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? So, did you practice the yesterday session? Does anyone have any question regarding yesterday's session? Very good, Akshita. Akshita, I just saw your assignment. Your work is very nice. Good evening, Paras. So, if anyone has any doubts regarding anything, you can just text me, okay? Good evening, Anand. Okay, Sayali, I'm very glad. Good evening, Sai. Good evening, everyone. So let's open our VS Code. Good evening, Ashwini. Okay, so yesterday we learned how to store the information using variables. So first of all, what are we going to do? We are going to create a new file. So yesterday we created this Python file day1.py, but today we are going to learn something new. So we don't want to write everything in a single file. So to create a new file, as you already know, this is the Python folder that we created yesterday. And inside this Python folder, we have this file. So in this same folder, we want to create a new Python file. So here, if you just bring your cursor here, so you can see these options are all gone. But if you bring your cursor back here, so you can see this is the option to create a new file. This is the option to create a new folder. And here, this is the option to refresh the Explorer. So to create a new file, what you will do, you will just click on this option on new file. Okay, so let's click here. And here we are going to name our file. Let's write day 2. Now look closely here. Right now you can see this is simply a text like, right? So here we will write .py. Now you can see the Python logo. So now this is a Python file. And now just press enter. So now we have created a new Python file. So are we clear how to create a new file inside VS Code? Is everything clear how to create a new file? Okay, so here what you just did, we created a new Python file in this same folder. So if you open your file explorer and you go to your desktop, because we created the file in the desktop. So here let's open this folder, and here you can see your file day2.python. Okay, so all of your Python files are available here in this Python folder. So let's open our VS Code back. So today we are going to work in this file day2.py, and we can close this file. Okay, so we were talking about that we learned about variables, that we can store the information using variables. So for example, we wrote the program like this. Yesterday, let's make a variable name and let's assign it a value Muskan, and let's write print, add parenthesis and the name of the variable. So this is the program that we wrote yesterday. So here name is the variable and this is the value of this variable, and this print is a function and its job is to display something on the screen. And here by writing this code, what we want to display? We want to display the value of this variable, which is Muskan. So if we run this program in the terminal, we are going to see our output, so which is Muskan. And we also learned that if we add quotation marks here, now this is no more a variable, this is just a simple text. So anything you write inside quotation marks is simple text, and we also call it a string. what do we call it? We call it a string. So if I run this program again, so this time Python is not going to print me Muskan. It is only going to print me this text, or I can say this string name. So let's run it. So here in the output, we are seeing name because here we just gave the instruction to print a text. Okay, so let's remove these quotation marks now. Okay, so here, as we can see that this program here, it works completely fine. But let me ask you one question. For example, there is one student and his name is Rahul. So for example, if Rahul is running this program. Now, if Rahul is running this program, let's click on run. For example, I am Rahul. So in the output, what I am seeing? I am seeing Muskan. Now, for example, there is another student. Her name is Priya. So if Priya is running this program, let's click on the run button. So again in the output, what are we seeing? We are seeing Muskan. That means no matter who runs the program, the output here is always the same. Now, why the output here is always the same? Because we have fixed the value inside this program. So, do we understand that here by giving this value to this variable, we have fixed this value inside this program. So no matter who runs the program, everyone is going to see the same output. So are we seeing any problem here? Am I audible, everyone? Okay, very good, Sai. Very good, Karthik. Okay, so you don't see any problem here, right? Okay, so let me give you one example. Okay, for example, you are creating a student registration form. Okay, all of you fill a online form, correct? For example, you are filling a online form. So if you open that online form and you see name is equal to Muskan, but your name is not Muskan, right? If another student opened that online form and that student is also seeing name is equal to Muskan, that means this value here, it is fixed. So the student, he cannot write his own name. So don't we see a problem here that this value is fixed here? So are we understanding the problem? Okay, so let me give you one more example. For example, let's make a variable DNA and let's assign it a value ATGCGTTA. Okay, now for example, just assume that you are building a DNA analysis program. Okay, so if you are building a DNA analysis program, that means you are going to receive 10 or 15 or 100 of DNA sequences, correct? And this DNA sequence is one of them. Now, for example, just assume you have written some 3 lines of code here, and here this is your DNA sequence. Now, if you have 50 DNA sequences to analyze, so what you will do? Will you just change the sequence here again and again? Because 50 DNA sequences, they cannot be the same, right? Some DNA sequences they can be ATGC. They can be ATT, GC, right? We can have multiple different DNA sequences. So if you want to build a program, what we have to do, we have to create a flexible code where the user can give the input. So here, what are we doing? We are giving a fixed value to our program. So this is actually called, it is called hard coding. Okay, now what does hard coding means? It means that we are writing a fixed value directly in the program, right? This one is the fixed value here directly in this program, but in real world applications, programs, they are used by many different users. So here, to solve this problem, Python, it provides us a built-in function called input. So yesterday we learned about print, right? The print is a function. So yesterday we learned about print and we learned about one more function type, right? Correct. We understood what is the job of this print function, to display something on the screen. What is the job of this type function? It gives us the information of the data type of this value this variable is storing. So here, what is the data type of this value? It is a string. In the same way, input is a function. So this input function, it allows the program to receive the information from the user while the program is still running. We are going to see an example to understand it. So for example, let's just write here. First of all, let's make a variable. Let's comment this out because we don't want to run this program. So here, let's make a variable name. Now I'm going to use this function input. So let's write input and add parenthesis. So notice here that I have added parenthesis here as well, and I have added parenthesis here as well. As you can see, there is parenthesis here in the print as well. So for example, here if I remove name, so you can see print looks like this. So every function has this parenthesis because we write something inside this, because we give a input. So that is why a function is written like this by adding the parenthesis at the end. Okay, is this point clear? Okay, so here we have used this function input. Now here we are going to write something, and let's write enter your name. And here let's write print the variable. Okay, am I audible? Is my screen visible to everyone? Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay, very good. So here I have written a very simple program, but I will just explain what does this program mean. So look at this line. Here you might be thinking that this is a one line, this is a one code, but here actually it is divided into three parts. So the first part is this variable, right? We already understand about the variable, that this is the variable where the user's value will get stored. So here we gave a fixed value here, so it got stored inside this variable. But now we are not giving a fixed value, we are not doing the hard coding, we are using this function input. Now here the second part is this function input. So this input function here, it tells the Python to pause the program and wait for the user to enter something. And here this is the third part. So we already understand anything inside quotation marks is a string or is a text. So here it is simply a prompt message. Okay, this message is only for the user, means it is for the user guidance. So it's simply this prompt message here, it simply tells the user what information they should enter. And then we have written our second line of code, print name, means print the value of this variable. So here currently there is no value inside this variable because we have used the input. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to run this program. So let's click on run. So here, can you see enter your name in the terminal? Can we see what just happened in the terminal? It is showing us enter your name. Okay, so I think my network is a little weak, I think. But just let me know time to time, okay, if my screen is visible to you or not. Okay, so here we used this input function, and when we clicked on the run button, so here you can see Python is still waiting. The program has been paused. Okay, you can see Python here is waiting for the user to enter his or her name. So for example, let's write Rahul. Now here you can see the user is typing his own value. Now after typing the value, we are going to press enter. So after pressing enter, what is going to happen? This second line of code will get executed. And what is the second line of code? To print the value of this variable. Now what is the value of this variable? It is Rahul. So now let's press enter. So here can we see, Rahul, that Python executed this second line of code. Now in the same way again, let's run this program again. So you can see enter your name. So this program has been paused here. Python is waiting for the user to type something. So this time let's write Priya, press enter. So here you can see Python executed this second line of code. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to comment this out. Now, what does this mean that I have commented this line? That means Python will not execute this line of code, correct? So here, let's click on run button again. Let's write the name. Let's write Ria. Now, tell me what is going to happen when I will press enter. Let me know in the chat box what is going to happen if I click on enter. Okay, tell me, Paras, why Ria will be printed. Okay, very good everyone. Very good. Let me press enter. So here can you see after this line nothing got printed in the terminal? Very good, Karthik. Nothing. Why nothing? Because we just commented out this line. So Python did not execute this line of code. And what is the meaning of this line of code? To print the value of this variable. So here we only run this program and here the value got stored inside this variable. But this time we did not print the value of this variable. So are we clear with input? Or do we have any questions regarding input? Okay, very good everyone. So here you can clearly see that here what we were doing, if anyone wants to run this program, they will have to change their name here again and again, right? So here we are changing this program again and again. But here if we are using input, so we are not doing any changes here, but still the output here, it is keep on changing. Why? Because the user is entering his or her own value. We can take one more example. Let's comment this out. Let's write something. Let's make a new variable. For example, let's make a variable gene. Now let's write the function input add parenthesis. Okay, so this is the function input and we have to add parenthesis because inside this we are going to write something. We are going to give our prompt message. So let's write enter gene name. So here you can write anything in this prompt message, whatever you like. You can write anything. For example, if I write, let's write X, Y, Z. So you can write anything. Okay. So here let me write enter gene name. And then we will write print the variable gene. Okay. So here what are we going to do? We are going to run this program. Let's click on run. So here we are seeing enter gene name. So let's write the gene name, for example, TP53 and now press enter. So here we can see Python has executed this line of code. Okay, so just wait a minute. Okay, let me know if we have any questions because I think I'm experiencing some internet issues. Let me know if my voice was clear right now. Let me know in the chat box. Okay, everyone. So in the same way, you can create any variable. You can use the function input. You can give here the prompt message and you can print the value of this variable. Okay, now one more important thing that I want to tell you about this input function, it is that no matter the user enters. For example, if I write, let's write a variable age, use the function input and let's write enter your age. Okay, so this time we are going to write number. So, and write print the name of the variable age. Okay, first of all, let's comment this out. So here I am telling you that no matter what the user write here in this input, first of all, let's run this. So here let's enter the age. Let's write age 56. Okay, now when I'm going to click on the run button, the Python is going to execute this line of code. Correct? So first of all, let's run it. So here we are seeing 56. So here we know that this is a number, right? We know that this is a number. Here when we entered the gene name, we know that was a text. But whenever user write anything here, input always store it as a string. So here this number here, it is not a number, it is actually a string, and we can also prove it. So yesterday we learned about the type function. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to write type here, add parenthesis, and here write the name of the variable age. So here, now what is going to happen? The Python is going to execute this line of code, means it is going to tell us that whatever the user is typing here, what is its data type. So let's run this program again. Let's type the age 56 again, press enter. So can we see now class str means class string. So no matter what the user enter here, the input, it always stores the value as a string. It is always a string. For example, let's run this program again. If I write 67.8, now this is a floating value. Yesterday we learned about float data type, that this decimal value is called a floating value. So here, what are we going to see? Again, we are going to see class string. So here, this line of code will get execute and we will see class string. So here, let's press enter. So again, what are we seeing? We are seeing str. So are we clear with this fact about input? That input always stores the value as a string. Is this thing clear? Okay, so always remember, whatever the user enters here, the input here, the Python store it as a string by default. Okay, now what if I want to use two input statements? Okay, let's comment this one out. Let's write something new. For example, here, suppose I want to add two numbers. So let's make a variable num1. So this is my variable 1. Let's use the function input. And here, let's write enter first number. Let's make another variable num2. Let's use the function input and write enter second number. Now here we just learned that input always stores the value as a string, means it does not store the value as a number. So if I want to add two numbers, how am I going to add it? Karthik, class str means class string. Karthik, watch the yesterday session. We talked about data types. There are different types of data types. So here, for example, look at here, Karthik. Here we have written here something inside this quotation marks. So this is called a string. Okay, so anything you write inside quotation marks, it is called a string. So here, this is a string. You can see the color as well of the string. Okay, Karthik. So anything you write inside quotation marks is a string. Karthik, is it clear? Okay, so here we just talked about that input, it stores the value as a string. It does not store the value as a number. So if I want to calculate the sum of two numbers, so how am I going to tell Python that I am actually typing number, I am not typing a string? So for example, let's write print variable 1. This is our variable 1, and let's write plus variable 2. Okay, are we clear with this? Do we have any confusion what I have just written here? So this is our variable 1, this is our variable 2. Here we use the function input. This is a prompt message to enter the first number. This is a prompt message to enter the second number, and I want to calculate these two numbers that the user will type. So let's run this program. So first of all, let's enter the first number. Let's write 10. Press enter. Enter the second number. Let's write 20. Now tell me, if I will press enter, what I'm going to see, what output I'm going to see. Let me know in the chat box. Akshita, very good Akshita, your answer is correct. Everyone who is saying 30, your answer is wrong. Let me show you. Let's press enter. So what are we seeing? We are seeing 10 and 20 here together. We are not seeing 30. The Python here did not completed the addition. It just added 10 and 20 together. Now tell me why we are seeing 10 and 20 together. Adnan, very good. It took as a string. That is what we learned about. Here, the input, it always stores the value as a string. That is what I showed you currently. Okay, so input, it always stores the value as a string. So here, this 10 here is a string. It is not a number. This 20 here is a string. It is not a number. So when we wrote this line of code, print variable 1 plus variable 2, that is why we are seeing 10, 20 together. We are not seeing 30. Also, I will also tell you the solution how we can add numbers in input as well. But for now, it was necessary to understand you that input always stores the value as a string and not as a number. So now are we crystal clear about this thing about input? That it always stores a string. Okay, so I will tell you the solution at the end of the session. Okay, so first of all, we are going to learn a new topic and we are going to talk about operators. Have you heard of operators before in maths? Have you heard the term operators? Okay, so first of all, let's understand what is the meaning of this word operator. So for example, you have a calculator. Okay, all of you use calculators. So in a calculator, if you want to do addition, if for example you want to do 10 plus 20, so if you simply write 10 and if you simply write 20, so the calculator itself is not going to do the addition for you, right? For that you have to press the plus sign. Similarly, for doing the subtraction, you have to press that negative sign, correct? Similarly, for multiplication and division, you have to press those signs. So that's how the calculator is going to understand what you want to do. So in the same way, Python here, it exactly works the same. So operators, if we are talking about plus, minus, 20, multiply, division, so these are all the operators. Means these are all the special symbols that tells the Python what operation it has to perform on the given data. For example, here we used this plus sign, so this is an operator. So let's write a very simple example. Let's make a variable a and let's assign it value 10. Let's make variable b and let's assign it value 20. Now what I want to do, I want to add these two, means I want to perform addition. So that is where I'm going to use the operators. So here let's write print and let's write a, add plus and b. So here this plus sign, what is it? It is called a operator. Okay, so first of all, let's click on run. So here we are seeing 30, correct? That means this is a number. 20 is a number. So what Python did, it added two integers. But what if I add here, I store it inside the quotation marks? Now this is a string. Now tell me, when I will click on run button, what output am I going to see? Very good, Akshita. 10 and 20. That is what we saw here in the input program. So first of all, let's click on run. So now we are seeing 10 and 20. So now what is this? We are adding two strings. So this addition of two strings, it is actually called concatenation. Okay, what is it called? It is called concatenation. So the term is a little big, but the meaning is very simple. The addition of two strings is called concatenation. So that is why we are seeing 10 and 20 and we are not seeing 30. So this is the same thing that happened here in the input program. We performed the concatenation. Okay. So here in the same way, if you want to perform subtraction, multiplication, division, what you will do, you will just simply add the operators. So let's write the operator minus, let's add the operator multiplication, let's add the operator division. Okay, now let's run this program. So here, these are the outputs. Okay, so we already understand about plus, minus, negative, and we now know that they are actually called operators. So in Python, there are actually different types of operators. So these are very simple operators, but actually there are four different types of operators. So first of all, we are going to talk about arithmetic operators. Okay. So here in arithmetic operators, we have already used some of these, this plus sign, this negative sign, this multiplication sign, this division sign. So these, they all come under the arithmetic operators. So a new operator that I can teach you here, for example, let's talk about this division. Let's run this program and let's observe the output. So here, what are we seeing? We are seeing 0.5, means this is a decimal number. For example, if I write 50 here and I assign this value, this variable value 10. So here, we should not see a decimal value, correct? We should simply see a normal value. Let's run this again. But here again, we are seeing 5.0, means again a decimal value. That means whenever you do division in Python, it will always give you a floating value. Now, for example, you don't want a floating value because this is by default that whenever you do division in Python, you will always see a floating value, means a decimal value by default. So if you don't want to see a decimal value, you will just add one more time this division sign, and now this is not a division sign anymore. This is called a floor division. It is called, this operator is called floor division. This means it just removes the decimal value. So let's run this program again. Now this time we are only seeing 5. So are we clear about this new operator, floor division, that whenever you don't want a decimal value, you will just use this floor division operator. Now one more operator is, let's do a power to sign. Have you in maths, you might have done it a raised to power b, right? 10 raised to power 2, 5 raised to power 3, correct? So for example, here I want to do, let's write it 100 and let's write it 2. So here, let's copy this. So I want to calculate the exponent. So here I will be using this star 2 times. So this is called exponent, means I am calculating a raised to the power b. So what is the value of a? It is 100. And what is the value of b? It is 2. So what are we going to see in the output? Let me know in the chat box. Let me know how good you are at math. What is the answer of a raised to power b? Simply, how many zeros are we going to see? Very good, Sai. Very good, Karthik. Very good, Anand. Let's run this program. So here we are seeing this 100 raised to the power 2. So let's change this value. Let's write 5. Let's run this program again. Here 100 raised to the power 5 is this value, means we are seeing 5 more zeros. So here this operator here is called exponent. So if you want to do multiplication, you will just remove this one star. Now this is multiplication. If you want to calculate the exponent, you will just add one more star. So this is another operator. And one more operator that we have is modulus. So here in modulus, we simply add the percentage sign. So this operator here, it is called modulus. Now, what does this operator do? It gives you a remainder. Okay, whenever we divide something, we always get a remainder. So this operator here, it gives you the remainder. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing that the remainder is 0. So whenever you will divide A and B, the remainder is 0. So that is what we are seeing. Okay, for example, let's just simply write 20. Let's write here 2. Let's click run. So here again we are seeing 0. Okay, so we understand the remainder, right? Whenever we do division, we always get a remainder. So this modulus operator here, it gives you the remainder. So these operators, plus, minus, negative, multiplication, floor division, exponent, modulus, they all come under the arithmetic operators. Okay, so are we clear about arithmetic operators? Okay, so this was the first type of operators. Another type of operator is called comparison operator. So another kind of operator that we have is comparison operators. So in this comparison operators, it is used to compare two values. So if I want to compare my one value, for example, this is my one value A, this is my another value B, and I want to compare these two values. So that is where I'm going to use this comparison operators. Okay, and the output of this comparison operator, it is always true or false. For example, here let's comment this one. Let's again make a variable A. Let's assign it value 20. Let's make variable B and assign it value 20. Now I want to compare these two. So let's write print because we want to print on the screen. We want to display on the screen. And here let's use our first comparison operator, A equal to B. Now in maths here, we know this equal to sign, right? In maths, we have always used this equal to sign. But in Python here, this one is actually called the equal to sign. This sign here, it is not called the equal to sign. Okay, we will talk about this as well. But in Python, we actually call this sign the equal to sign. So here we already understand left hand side and right hand side. You must have done some calculations in maths comparing left hand side and right hand side. So here that is what we are doing. We are comparing the left hand side to right hand side. And here we are using the equal to operator. So now we can see the value of A is 20, the value of B is 20. That means left hand side is equal to right hand side. So we are going to see true in our output. So let's click on run. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing true in our output. Now if the value of A is not equal to the value of B, we will see false. So here let's click on run. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing false. So here this operator is called equal to. One more operator that we have is not equal to. So not equal to here, we will just simply add quotation mark. So this operator here is called equal to. This operator here is called not equal to. Means left hand side is not equal to right hand side, which is actually true here because these value, they are not equal to each other. That means we are going to see true in the output for this code. So let's click on run. So here, are we seeing true? that A is not equal to B, that is true. So that is why we are saying true in the output. So are we clear with these two operators, equal to and not equal to? Okay, one more common operator that you have already used is greater than and equal to. So this is greater than and this is less than. So this is greater than operator, this is less than operator. So again, if the value of A is greater than the value of B, we are going to see true here, which is actually true. And if the value of A is less than the value of B, we are going to see false. So we can see the value of A is 20, the value of B is 2. So here this one is false. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing true for this code, and for this code we are seeing false. So are we clear with this greater than and less than operator? So these are what do we call these? These are the comparison operators. Now one more operator is we can combine this greater than sign with the equal to sign. So let me write it. So here I have used first of all greater than symbol and equal to sign. Now what are we doing here with this operator? We are combining the greater than sign and equal to sign. Means if the value of A is greater than the value of B, what we will see in the output? We will see true. So here the value of A is 20, the value of B is 2. So value of A is greater than the value than the B. Okay. So here let me comment this one out and let's run this program. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing true. Now what if I give the value 20? So here the value of A is 20, the value of B is 20, and here you can see this equal to sign. That means if the value of A is equal to the value of B, again we are going to see true. So let's click on run. Here we are seeing true. So do we understand this operator? Do we understand this operator? Very good. In the same way, we have less than and equal to sign. So here I will simply write less than and equal to sign. So here the value of A is equal to the value of B. That means here we are going to see true. So let's change the value. Let's make it 200. Now let's run it. So here we are seeing false because this time the value of A is 200, which is not less than B. So that is why we are seeing false. But if both of the values are same, again we will see true. So all of these here are called comparison operators. So till now we have talked about arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators includes these. We talked about comparison operators, that they always return true and false, and these are all the comparison operators. Now the third kind of operators are logical operators. So let's comment this one out. Now let's talk about logical operators. Now the logical operators, they are used when we want to combine two or more conditions. So for example, I want to see, let's make a variable again. Let's write a variable A, assign it value 80. Okay, let's make another variable B and assign it value 30. Now I want to add some conditions. And what is the condition? That if A is greater than B and A is less than B. So I can say that these are the two conditions. Is first condition A is greater than B and second condition A is less than B. So here first of all let's write A greater than B. Let's give it some here some space and let's write A less than B. Now here in the middle, we are going to use a logical operator because we want to combine these two conditions. So let's use the logical operator AND. So in this logical operators, we only have three operators. Let me write it: AND, OR, and NOT. So these are the only three operators in this logical operators. Now tell me, what are we going to see in the output? Can you guess? Can you guess the output? Anyone? Paras, true and false. Zia false. Shobit, false. Very good. So let me tell you something about this logical operator end. So this operator, what it says that if you are combining two conditions, so this is condition number 1 and this is condition number 2. So if both of these conditions are true, only in that case this operator will return us true. But if any of the condition is false, it will return us false. Let me repeat it again. So here we can see that the value of A is greater than the value of B. That means this condition is true. Now here the value of A is not less than the value of B. That means this condition is false. So this operator says that in order for this operator to give us true in the output, both of the condition must be true, and it does not matter if one condition is true or not. Both of the condition needs to be true. So in the output we are going to see false. So let's click on run. So here what are we seeing? We are seeing false because this condition was false. So let me change the operator again. So here this is condition 1. This is the same condition, right? But we want to see true. So let's click on run again. So now we are seeing true. So why are we seeing true? Because this condition and this condition both are true. Karthik, no, you cannot use and like that because these are the operators. Okay, so this is the and operator, this is the or operator, and this is the not operator. Okay, Karthik? So here we understood about and, that and operator says both of the condition needs to be true. But if we talk about the or operator, so let's remove this and from here. Let's write or, let's change the sign to less than again. So now this or operator says that any one of the condition needs to be true in order for this operator to return us true in the output. So we already have this one condition true and this condition is false. So one condition is true, that means this operator will return us true. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing true. So do we understand the difference between and or operator? Okay, very good everyone. So let me just give you one more example of the and operator. For example, here let's write age is equal to 22. Okay, I made one variable age and I assigned it the value 22. Now let's print here, let's write condition because we are using these logical operators because we want to compare two conditions. So here my first condition is that the age is greater than 18. Okay, this is my first condition and I am using the and operator, and my second condition is age is less than 30. Now tell me what will be the output. Very good, Yukta. Very good, Anand. It will be true because both of these conditions are true. The value of age is greater than 18 and it is also less than 30. So both of the conditions are true. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing true. But in the same case, if we change the value, so here let's make the age 56. Okay, so here what are we going to see? We are going to see false because now our condition is false. So this one condition is true, that the age is greater than 18. This condition is true, but now this condition became false. So in the same way, if I use or operator here, so the or operator says any one condition should be true, then this operator will return us true. So let's click run. So here we are seeing true. Okay. Now the third operator that we have is not. Okay. So this is the third operator. So this not operator, what it says that it simply reverses the result. For example, here if I write print and here I'm writing false. So yesterday we learned about that this false is a boolean value. It is a boolean data type, right? We learned about true and false. It is a boolean data type. Means I want to print false, but I actually do not want to print false. I actually want to print true, but I want to write false here. So that is where I'm going to use this not operator. So here if I write not, so in the output what I'm going to see, I am going to see true. So do you understand what this not operator just did? It just reverses the value. So for example, here if I write true, so this is the boolean data type true. Let's click on run, and what I am seeing false. So what this operator does, it reverses the value. So let's take one more example of this not operator. So here, for example, here I made the variable age. Let's assign it a value 16. Now I want to print, let's write age is greater than, let's write greater than and equal to 18. Okay, so first of all tell me, is it true or is it false? When I will click on the run button, what I am going to see, am I going to see true or am I going to see false? Let's click on run. So it is false, right? Because the value of age is 16. So 16 is not greater than 18. So this condition here, it is false. Now I want to print true in my output. So this is where I'm going to use the not operator. Okay. So here either you can write it like this, or if you want some clear program, you can also add it. You can also add it inside parentheses as well. Okay, I don't know why this one is keep coming up. Okay, so here we have used the not operator. That means this condition is actually false, but we are going to see true. So let's click run, and here we are seeing true. So do we understand these three logical operators, and, or, and not, or do we have any confusion regarding these operators? Okay, so here till now we have learned about three types of operators. So our last operator is assignment operator. Okay, so this is the last operator. Let's write assignment operator. So what are these assignment operators? Here I told you that this equal to sign, it is actually not a equal to sign, right? What is the equal to sign? If I write 2 times equal to, this is called the equal to sign in Python. So what is this called? This is an actually assignment operator. Okay, so these assignment operators, they are used to store values in the variable. So our first assignment operator is this one. So for example, here if I write x is equal to 5. So here this sign here, it is an assignment operator. Now another assignment operator is, for example, I want to add some value in this variable. So for example, let's write x is equal to 5 plus 10. So in maths we have done this, right? We have the value of x. Okay, let me write it x here. Yes. So here in maths we have all of us, we have done it. We have solved the maths problem where we have the value of x and we applied that value here and we solved the equation, right? In the same way we are doing here. So here we have the value of x 5, and here what I write x plus 5. So what is the value of x? It is 5. That means what am I doing? I am doing 5 plus 10. So what should I see in my output? I should see 5 plus 10, that means 15. So Python here should print me an updated value of x, correct? Here the value of this x is 5, but here we did x plus 10. That means here 5 plus 10, that means 15. So here Python will print us 15. So let's click on run. So here we are seeing 15. So the assignment operator that we can use here, instead of writing this line, let me write x plus equal to 10. Let's give some space. Now, do you understand this operator? Are you getting some idea of this operator? Let me comment out this line. This line here and this line is exactly the same. Here what we did x plus 10. Here we are doing the same thing. So first of all, we are doing addition and then we are assigning. This equal to sign means to assign. So first of all, we are doing addition and then we are assigning. So here if you write, because as a beginner you can make this mistake, if you write equal to sign first and then you write plus sign, so this one is wrong. So let's write first and equal to sign first. Let's run this program. So here we can see 15, right? The value of x here is 5 and we want to add 10 and then we want to assign the updated value 15 to this variable x. But if we write equal to sign first and then the plus sign, we are not going to see 15. Let's see what we are going to see. What we are seeing 10. So here what we just did, we here used this operator to assign. So we assigned the value 10 first and then we have written the plus sign. That means we did not perform the addition. We assigned an updated value. So are we clear with this? First of all, you have to add the plus sign and then the equal to sign. So this is, you can say, just a shortcut to write this line of code. In the same way, you can do minus sign and equal to sign if you want to do subtraction. In the same way, you can do, let's do multiplication. In the same way, you can do division. Okay, whatever you want to do, you can just simply write minus and equal to sign, then the operator and then the equal to sign, then division and equal to sign. So these are just shortcuts, we can say. Okay, so these are all the assignment operators. So are we clear about the assignment operators? Yes, Yukta, here x and equal to. This means we are assigning this value to the x. So this sign here means to assign. So first of all, we want to subtract and then we want to assign. In the same way, first we want to multiply and then we want to assign. So is your doubt clear, Yukta? Okay, does anyone have any other question? Okay, very good everyone. So let's come back to the starting problem that we talked about, input. So here in input we talked about this. Now how are we going to add two numbers here in this input? Because input always stores the value as a string. And in Python here we want to do addition. So here what we just did in these examples, we were doing hard coding. Correct, we were assigning the value ourselves, but we don't want to do hard coding because there are many programmers who want to use our code, who want to use our program. So we cannot do hard coding, we have to use the input. So to do this, what we can do, we are going to use a function int. Okay, this function is int. It stands for integer. First of all, let me add it in parenthesis. So here you can understand, right, when we in maths, when we do board mass or when we do damas, we use these brackets, right? These brackets have a meaning. In the same way, we are using these brackets to here you can say separate these things. So here we are using this function int. Int stands for integer. So yesterday when we learned about different data types, we learned about string, str, we learned about integer. This is the integer int. We learned about float, we learned about the bool value, right? In the same way, this is the same function int. This means here what it will do, it will tell this program here that the user, whatever the user enters, it is an integer. So int here, it stands for integer. Okay, now this time here, whatever the user will enter, let's run this program, let's enter 40. Now this time this 40 is a number, it is not a string. Let's press enter. Let's write the second number. Let's write 60. Now in the output, what are we going to see? We are going to see 100. So can we see that we just perform addition here? What we just did, we simply used a function int here before the input, because input always stores the value as a string. So are we clear with this? Do we have any questions? Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. This is actually called typecasting, but we are not going to learn about typecasting today. But let me just give you an overview. So as we have understood, input always stores the value as a string, correct? So what are we doing here? We are changing the data type. Okay, so here it is actually called typecasting, but for now, just understand it like this, that this is a function because we want to add these two numbers, and here input always stores the value as a string. So that is why we used this function int before the input. Okay, so that was all for today's session. If you have any doubts, you can ask me related to any operators that we learned today, arithmetic operator, comparison operator, or logical operator, and the assignment operators. Zia Ali, it will work without int, but what are we studying? If I remove this int, let's remove this int, let's remove these extra parentheses. Okay, Zia, look at here, I removed the int. Right? Now I want to add two numbers. So let's run it again. Let's run this program again. Let's add our first number 40, press enter. Enter our second number. Let's add 60, press enter. So what are we seeing? We are seeing 4060. Can we see the addition did not happen here? Right? Zia, did you understand? That input here, it always stores the value as a string, means as a text, and we want to perform multiplication, we want to perform division, we want to perform maths, and to perform the maths, it is always performed on integers, on numbers, right? So this 40, this 60, it is a number, but for Python, it is a string. So that is why we are learning that input always stores the value. These are the values 40 and 60. It always stores the value as a string. So if we want to perform mathematics, we have to use the function int and write this in parentheses. Okay, and here let's use the function int and add it in parentheses. Now let's run this program again. Let's enter the first number 40, enter the second number 60. Now we are seeing 100. Now this time 40 and 60, they are integers because we used this function integer. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay everyone, then thank you for joining. So I would like you to practice what we have learned today, okay? Because if you do not do practice, then you will not understand it. Okay, watch the today's session again, do some practice. I will upload practice sessions so that you can perform those questions on your own. Okay, everyone, then thank you for joining. Have a good evening.